Welcome to Discipleship with Amy YouTube channel. I am so glad you're here. Think of me as your friendly career mentor for today. But, well, actually, scratch that. We aren't talking about climbing the corporate ladder today. No, we are mapping out literally the most important project you will ever take on, building a lifelong covenant with another person. Whether you're currently in a relationship, hoping to be in one someday, or just seeking to understand what our source text really reveals about love and commitment, this explainer is absolutely for you. We're going to unpack what a godly relationship actually looks like in everyday practice. Because, as you'll see, a true, lasting connection, it isn't something you just randomly stumble into. It's something you intentionally build from the ground up. So, here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're treating this exactly like a major construction project. We'll start with 1, the blueprint. Look at 2, worldly versus godly commitments. Establish the 3, 5 pillars of alignment. Navigate 4, the construction zone. Set up 5, daily honesty and boundaries. And finally, wrap up with 6, deep questions to really test that foundation. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the blueprint. Starting with scripture. Every successful building project requires a solid, shared blueprint before anyone even thinks about pouring the concrete, right? We have to know exactly what we're trying to build. And our foundational blueprint comes directly from Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 and 10. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up. The source material points out something really profound here. The true blessing isn't just having someone around to keep you company. The real blessing is in the partnership and the agreement. It means 2 people are actively building something together for God. Moving together in step is what gives the relationship its actual structural strength.
Moving on to part 2, worldly dating versus godly commitments, the clear contrast.
And this brilliantly illustrates why we need to shift our mindset away from that superficial, highly edited Instagram or Nollywood version of romance. Look at worldly dating on the left. It's almost entirely feelings-based, driven by unilateral demands, and frankly, often severely lacking in any kind of boundaries. It's all about what you can get. But contrast that with godly commitments on the right. These are covenant-based, defined by mutual giving, and protected by incredibly healthy boundaries. As a mentor, I can tell you for sure that stumbling into love based on fleeting feelings is easy. But building a godly foundation, that takes a deliberate, highly intentional shift towards real commitment. All right, let's look at part 3. 5 pillars of alignment, laying the foundation.
To pour a rock-solid foundation, couples must absolutely align in 5 specific areas. Pillar number 1 is keeping God at the center. This is the bedrock agreement that Jesus is Lord of the home. When a couple shares the spiritual core, everything else kind of naturally finds its proper perspective. The source notes that this shared center makes your purpose clearer, allows forgiveness to flow so much more freely, and let's be honest, makes everyday conflicts way more manageable.
The second pillar is a shared financial vision. Let's be practical here for a second. Money is consistently one of the biggest sources of conflict in any relationship. It just is. The text references Proverbs 3:9-10, explaining that couples who agree on a budget, on saving, and on giving build massive security and experience far greater peace. Aligning your values here stops financial stress from cracking your foundation down the line. Next up, we have our third pillar, protecting the children. Proverbs 22:6 talks about training up a child in the way they should go. This pillar emphasizes the absolute necessity of presenting a united front on discipline, values, and faith. When a couple agrees on parenting, they create a highly secure and incredibly consistent world for the next generation to grow up in. It's a real game changer. Our fourth pillar is honest communication, based on Ephesians 4:15. This is the commitment to speak the truth in love. The source text makes it very clear. You must refuse to let silence govern your home. Committing to regular, deeply honest conversation leads to profound intimacy and ensures much faster healing after those inevitable arguments occur. And finally, the fifth pillar is healthy boundaries. Genesis 2:24 describes leaving father and mother to be united as one. Basically, this means the marriage is the primary covenant. You have to protect what is most precious to you by establishing clear, unified lines with the outside world. Whether you're navigating extended family dynamics, friend groups, or even just social media overreach, those boundaries are crucial.
Which brings us to part 4, the construction zone, navigating tension together.
For all the young couples out there currently preparing for marriage, please hear me when I say disagreement isn't a sign of failure. Not at all. It's just a sign that two real people are genuinely engaging in the messy work of building together. Let's look at a hypothetical couple in this construction zone phase. They have the blueprint, but they're clashing hard over money. One is a spontaneous spender, while the other meticulously tracks every single receipt. On top of that, they're struggling to set boundaries with their in-laws. These are incredibly common tensions that our source identifies as areas every couple has to work through. So the crucial point is how they react to this tension. A defensive reaction looks like hiding expenses or unilaterally demanding distance from the family. That tears the relationship down entirely. But a curious, active listening reaction, that looks completely different. It involves asking open questions about underlying financial values or setting loving but firm limits with family together as a totally united front. Remember, defensiveness destroys, but curiosity and active listening build the relationship up. Moving into Part 5, Daily Honesty and Boundaries, Maintaining the Building. Even the most beautiful building falls apart without daily maintenance, right? We have to translate that biblical command to speak the truth in love into actionable everyday habits. Here are 5 practical ways to do that in a busy lifestyle. 1. Pray first, asking God to make you curious instead of defensive. 2. No screens during difficult talks, which ensures true, focused, active listening. 3. Set digital boundaries to protect your intimacy. 4. Always choose face-to-face chats over texting for serious issues. And 5. Speak your true feelings without attacking your partner. These habits are what keep the building standing tall, even when life gets crazy. Let's move to and see how this builds our final section. Part 6, 5 Deep Questions, the Relationship Audit. All right, as your mentor, I'm giving you a little bit of homework. Here are 5 deep reflection questions to spark some truly honest dialogue. Question 1. What agreement in our relationship has clearly brought blessing, and are we both equally committed to protecting it? This is exactly where you start. You begin your dialogue by celebrating your wins. You absolutely must acknowledge what is already working well in your foundation before you start trying to fix the leaks. Question 2. What disagreement keeps coming back? And what do you think I actually need that I'm not saying clearly? This is a powerful one. It forces you to look past the surface level fights. Reoccurring arguments are rarely about the topic at hand. They are almost always about uncovering each other's hidden emotional needs. Question 3. On a scale of 1 to 10, how connected do I feel to you right now, and what would make it a 10? Remember, the text frames intimacy in 1 Corinthians 7 as mutual giving, not unilateral demand. Regularly checking in on your connection levels like this ensures that both partners are actively engaged in that mutual giving. Question 4. Is there something I do or don't do that makes you feel unseen or undervalued? I want to hear it without defending myself. Wow. This is the ultimate active listening challenge. It requires you to create a completely safe space for your partner's true feelings, dropping all your defenses just to simply hear their reality. And finally, question 5, what is one thing we can agree to try differently for the next 30 days, and how will we know it's working? This is the perfect wrap-up because it ends the conversation with a true covenant action. It transforms talking into tangible, measurable change. You see, love isn't just the feeling that starts a relationship. It is the daily decision that sustains it. So what piece of your foundation are you going to intentionally build today? Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Be blessed.